Thank you and welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the Kingdom Business Association Destiny Weekend. This session's title is Social Media Revolution. And I'm pleased to introduce Pascal VanKnijff. I've been practicing that. Pascal VanKnijff. He has over 12 years of experience in small businesses and Fortune 500 companies. He's currently the CEO of IP4M, an internet consultancy and strategy firm focused on social media and effective web production. He's married and has 3 children who have hair. He resides in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Pascal.
Hey, thank you for the awesome welcome, guys. Pascal VanKnijff, but I wouldn't care if you call me Pascal VanKnijff. That's fine. I want to start off. I guess all of you are already awake, and but if you're not, then this might make. Okay, let's get rolling. I had an awesome introduction by John. Who am I? I just wanted to start off with something that's very important. Who am I? As men, we take a lot of pride in what we do. The first question you ask is what you do. And my answer right now is I'm a father first. Okay, guys, and I think for all of you parents, I just want to encourage you. I felt the Lord saying you are a father or a mother first or parent first, secondly, a businessman. It ties into everything that's going on, all the fear and the anxiety we have, whatever, but we are a father first and we need to stay with him. So my introduction, other than that, is I own a firm. I help people not to scratch the surface of social media, not to, I have a Facebook account or a Twitter account. No, what I want to do is to help people, businesses, ministries, to effectively use social media. And I'm, of course, a trend watcher, so I watch trends, and perhaps you couldn't read everything that was on there. I will touch a lot of it throughout this whole presentation. And my goal for you is to go from this seminar and to take home something that you can actually, how you can use social media, how you can use it in your business, in your ministry, or whatever you're going to be doing. So that was who I was. But now I'd like to know a little more about you. Let's start with, how many of you have a Facebook account? Wow, how many of you started after your kids had one? So can I say you're spying on your kids or what? So other than that, how many of you have a company that's less than 10 people? 1, 2. That's about, dare I say, 30% of this? That's an interesting crew. How many have 10 to 100 people working for you, so more of a larger company? That's about 10%. And over 100? Not many here. Over there, there's one. When it comes to social media, how many of you are actually reading a blog online or following blogs? Does anybody know what a blog is? I mean, just want to elaborate on that if you don't know what it is. How many of you have watched a video online? Okay, what's the latest video you watched? What's your name? Yeah? Yeah, the latest video you watched online. Which one? Okay, cool. Who else has watched the video? Yeah, what's your... Mr. Smith goes to... Okay. Another person who watched video online on YouTube, what's that? The Ivan Baby, right? Yeah, I love that one. Have you seen that? Ivan Babies or the Blendtec where the baby's on the roller skates? Talk about the power of viral videos. Other than that, who of you actually write blogs? I see 1, 2, 3. I got a different crowd each time. Last time there were about 7 people out of the 50. So that's interesting. Before I go on, is there somebody who can help me give away these forms? These, instead of me giving you something, I would like to have something in return. It's a form where I ask for your comments, for your rating, and for your email address. I will be happy to give you this email presentation so you can go over the stats, go over whatever you want, but I like to hear from you. I like to hear your comments on my presentation. I like to have you rate me, and I like your contact information if you want. I will not spam you. I'll just send you the presentation so to go over it. This is just a little demonstration of what I think social media is. It's not about me giving something to you. I want to have a conversation with you. I want to hear from you what I've done and how I can improve, what I can do better. So that's a little demonstration of social media here. So feel free to, again, to fill it in during my session if I become boring, or just ask questions if you have any of the questions. Time-wise, I have to skip through a couple of my slides. Other than that, I hope I'll address everything that's on there. Okay, in the world of social media, I've asked the questions not for nothing. I wanted to know how many of you are called the inactives. In other words, who are not listening or going on YouTube, reading blogs, listening to podcasts or whatever. I also would like to find out how many of you are the spectators. This is called the ladder of technographics by Forrester. This shows the progression on social media usage in your own mind. So you start off being inactive, you migrate to being a spectator. Like, one of the reasons was perhaps your children. They were on Facebook. You wanted to, spy on them, and then so you joined it. Another term, and a little higher up the ladder, are the collectors. That are the people who actually vote on websites. Who of you have voted on websites, a poll or something? Who does that when you find something? Yeah? Or subscribe to an RSS feed? Or tag it, share it with other people. You know what the principle of sharing is? I find something awesome that I like online, and I want my friends to know that as well, on my Facebook account or on my blog or whatever. That's what I want to do. How many of you have actually, this is an interesting question. How many of you do still look at the yellow page as a book? That is about 1%. How many go online for Google and find something they need? That's about 99%. So of these, keep your hands raised. I mean, this is the last session, hope so keep your hands raised. So how many of you go on Google or another search engine? Okay. How many of you read a review about a product or a service you're going to buy online? That's almost the same amount. That's very interesting. In my other presentation, it was about 80%. Here, I talked about social media revolution, and I just want to back it up. I just don't want you guys to think it's a fad. Here, we had in 2007, 44% of the online people were actually inactive. Right now, it's only 18% that are inactive. They become more spectators. So join it, and they join it. Look here, it's 50% or 100%. It doubled in 2 years. I showed in the video how it took the TV and the radio about 50 years to reach people. Then the internet only took about 4 years, and then we have Facebook. We have 100 million people added in only 9 months. We're really in a revolution, and I hope you get it at the end that we are in the revolution. So again, you can see the stats going up. Won't go too much over them, but people become from an inactive, become actually a spectator and a joiner, collector, critic, and a creator. Again, how many of you, of the companies you work for, have a presence online, a website? Your company you work for has a, whatever. I think everybody. How many are of these people? So please raise your hands. I'm doing a little exercise here. Yeah, you're online. And how many of you are participating in social media? Okay, here's a daring statement. You're not actually online. Of course, you are online in the sense if you have a website out there. But if you're not engaged with your customer base, if you're not engaged with the people who you want to reach, if you're not talking to them, I dare to say you're not really online. With me, of course, John Jens. He's the author of Duct Tape Marketing. He's one of the guys I follow as a trend watcher. So now the next question is, what is social media? Okay, here comes the definition. Various activities that integrate technology, social interaction, and the construction of words, pictures, video, and audio. Another one, a multi-source online media communication system. That's how I get sometimes about social media. It's so much, people want to say so much about it, what it is, what it isn't. Here's my definition of social media. It's all about the conversation. Social media, in my opinion, is nothing else than a conversation that takes place online or something. And that's it. It's a conversation. You can connect to it. You can participate in this conversation. And you can do that through various tools. You can do that through posting a video, sharing a content, rating it, tweeting about it, whatever. But it is about the conversation. It's the two-way conversation. What is social media marketing? So how can we market through the uses of social media? Social media marketing is using the networks, the social networks, the online communities, the blogs, the wikis, the video, and other social media to stimulate your sales, your brand awareness, and enhance customer service. And with sales, I do not only mean your product, but I also mean services. And the marketing, the social media marketing, is using the social networks, the social media for it. I dare to say right now that social media plays an important role in the consumer's decision process. And I think I demonstrated by asking the question, how many of you review or read reviews about your products online? And let's be honest, if you read a bad review, who is going to buy it? I won't. So it's an important role. And I think the marketing of it is a great strategy for companies who are willing to build strong relationships with consumers. Another interesting post, friends, fans, and followers. Talk about revolution. I believe that we don't talk about consumers anymore. I don't want people to be my clients. I want them to be my friend on Facebook, and I want them to be my fan on the products I do, or I want them to follow me on Twitter. So all of a sudden, there's the mindset needs to change from a consumer base to, no, they're going to be my friends, they're going to be my fans and my followers, because they can customize experience. And with my friends, I collaborate. And I share with my friends. And I can choose if I want to become a friend or not. So that's the daring statement, no more consumers. The when of social media. 400 years ago, we had the printing press. Revolution. All of a sudden, my words could be put on paper, and somebody else could read what I was thinking. I think Rick Joyner touched on it yesterday when he talked about John Huss, how he did not have the printing press, and Luther and the other guys, they had a printing press. It revolutionized the world. Then 200 years ago, we had the telephone. So all of a sudden, my next of kin, my peer, all were, a couple of hundred miles away. I could talk to them. So there was communication without me being present at that moment. 150 years ago, you had, instead of only the press, that you could disperse your picture, or could you record your album. So you could, share the beauty of things you were doing. And then 150 years ago, you had the television and the radio. Problem is, they had one big problem. And here, this is the peacock that landed on my windscreen the other day. Now, it's not really a peacock. It's the map of the internet. It's used by Bill Cheswick. It addresses the problem we had and we don't have anymore. There's not a problem of information finding us. You see all these lines? These are the edges of social media. All the information is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And all of a sudden, it seems like you write a book, but you get the press with it. You can communicate to people. All of a sudden, you record something, and you become not only the recording artist, but you become also the producer. And the video as well, you become your own producer for that. And the internet, what I see, what everybody sees happen, probably, everything migrates to the internet. The Google scanners right now scan 1,000 pages per hour for the books they have the rights to publish on the internet. The phones, voice over IP. Who has heard of phonics? Who has a voice over IP system? It radically changes the way of doing communication because it's a lot of cheaper. Who has Skype? Who've used Skype? A lot of people use Skype. You see that? So everything is slowly migrating to the internet. And all of a sudden, instead of the one-to-many communications, you broadcast to people, you have a many-to-many communications going on. Again, this is probably a time where we experience the largest increase in expressive capability of all time. So that, to me, qualifies for a revolution. And it's not my own quote, it's by Clay Sharkey. He's the author of Here Comes Everybody. He's a great thinker in social media, and you should read his book. Here's another timeline. Don't have really time to go in. So when engage in social media? Well, I would say How about now? Where does the social media take place? This is an interesting question. I hope I can talk as fast as this little video will go, because social media is microblogs. And it's not only Twitter, Rejaw, Twinger, Jammer, Twitter Split, Quippy. It's about blogs. There are many blogging sites out there. Google, Fox, Xanga, WordPress. Hey, it's all also groups and discussions. I can talk to somebody else. It's about content marketing and link baiting. In other words, I put out content that other people can find me about what I do. There are contests and samples and coupons. But it's also wiki, like the online encyclopedia. But it's not only wiki, there's a lot of other wiki places on there. Instant messaging, chat, and video chat also, in my opinion, are part of the social media. Webinars, webcasts, Ustream TV for live video. Social networks, again, it's not only Facebook. There's others, Orkut, there's Bebo, there's Yahoo groups. My kids love webkins, by the way. That's also social media. Second Life, 1.5 million users. Widgets, gadgets, buttons, and favicons. I have a widget on my screen. Photos, videos, PowerPoints, slideshows, white papers, all going on the internet for other people to look at. Bookmarking, tagging, and sharing. My favorites in what I like on the internet, share it with other people. Directory listing, listings where I see other companies. Maplets, geotagging, mashups. The web collections, a collection of all kind of content online. User-generated media through AngelList, Craigslist, Kutsu, Bazaar Reviews, e-opinions. An awesome way to get your word out through all kinds of event listings you're doing. And syndication, getting information from wherever on your desktop. Newswires, press distributions, social media news releases, all part of it. And now it's going mobile. Internet market research, a big part of how to effectively do social media. So again, this was 1 or 2 minutes about social media. As you can see, there are about, well, I don't even want to name numbers, because when I name numbers, I have to go over this presentation almost every day. That's true, because the numbers are changing so rapidly. The landscape around us, guys, is changing dramatically. It is truly a revolution we're in. And a guy named Brian Solis came up with, he calls it the conversation prism. You know, he made a very nice diagram of what happens. Here's your brand. Could be your service as well. The social media, that's why it has an ongoing arrows here, tells you that you can address crises, give support, and in return get the feedback and the insight. And you can see this is where the whole conversation takes place. So it's not only Facebook where it takes place, but it takes place on events, because all of a sudden you can post an event. We did, for one company, they had a promotional truck, and you could follow this truck all over the internet on the map where it was doing its promotion. So it was live. So we encouraged other people to spot this truck. That's what social media, on the website there was this truck going from A to B, and you could follow where he was going. Talking about social media. Blogs, as I said, communities, collaboration, we can collaborate together.
Hey there. Long time no see. Looking good.
Yeah. Let's just keep this simple. I want a divorce.
What now?
I think you heard me just fine.
Come on. This is me. What's wrong?
We don't talk anymore.
I just put down $1 million on a TV commercial just to talk to you.
Exactly. You do all the talking. I never get a chance.
Talk on our website, can't you?
Sure. If I want to say, order this product.
See?
It's not exactly a dialogue.
What about the print campaign, You can't tell me you missed the billboard in Times Square. That was like a 200-foot tall declaration of love.
You're saying you love me, but you're not behaving like you love me. It's not genuine.
I don't know. The agency said I was genuinely being funny. Genuinely being charming. They said you would love everything I did.
Could you keep your voice down? You're not doing a radio commercial. Look, whether you're funny or not, it's just, I've changed, and you haven't. I mean, we don't even hang out in the same places anymore. You're not even listening, are you?
Coupons. You want coupons, don't you? Look, come by the store. I got 2 words for you. Loyalty, reduction. Am I right? That was it, wasn't it? Let's just hug.
If you knew me, you'd know I don't care about that.
Know you? Sweetheart, I know everything about you. You're 28 to 34. Your online interests include music, movies, and laser hair removal. You have a modest but dependable disposable income. Am I the only one not getting the problem here?
I'm out of here.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Look, I'll tell you what. Come back here tomorrow. I'll give you the chance to win a Bahamas vacation. There's a small chance, minuscule, but technically still a chance. It might be like the old days.
Why wouldn't it be like the old days? The old days, the web transformation, Web 1.0. We had websites that offered information with static, but hey, you could submit a request for additional information. Give your name and your email address, and we'll give you more information. Hey, and also you could buy our products online. Web 1.0. However, now you can add content. You can add content. You can subscribe to the content of your provider through an RSS feed, and can share and rate it with others. If you liked something, again, I think Facebook is the best example, but you can share it on Facebook. You can share a video, you can share a blog, something you read, you can share it. It also, Web 2.0 is about forming communities. It's about collaboration, it's about influencing one another. So how does this transform to marketing transformation? Like the marketing 1.0, the one-way outbound messaging. It was all about the TV, it's all about direct mail, but it interrupts and distracts from content. I have no TV and not planning on buying one, but every once in a while I saw a series. And it's like, you watch this series, and then within like five minutes or something, you had another ad coming at you. And it was not really the moment I wanted it, to be very honest. I just read a recent study that we as a person, we see 3,000 ads per day. No wonder we don't really pay attention to it anymore. 60% of the people are interested in blocking the advertisements on TV. Again, who of you opens all of their mail they get? Nobody. Nobody opens all of the mail they get anymore. Marketing 2.0 is a whole different way of doing marketing. It's about the two-way messaging. It's about establishing communities. Dell, for example, established a community where with the people, with the customers, they wanted feedback. Where do we put this button? How big does the screen need to be? What do you think about the keyboard layout? What would you improve? So they formed a community, and it's actually helping them not only being on top and being the #1 computer seller. Another thing is to publish content and to collaborate and influence others. So what you want to be doing is influence people. So again, as we've seen in the advertiser versus consumer video, the old way of thinking was me. I have this product. I have this awesome service. I can promise you like a rose garden, whatever I want to do. It's about me, it's about myself, and I push out my message to you. If you like it or not, here I am. If you like it or not, this is my ad. I am the best. I am the #1. New way of thinking, it's about you. Hey, what do you find interesting? Instead of text, it's about video. Instead of self, it's about, again, the social environment. And instead of the push, it's the pull. I want to hear from you. Again, that's what I'm doing here as well. I want to hear from you what you think, if I did a good job or not. If you would rate me, if you would recommend me to other people. Just to give a little more graphical example of the mass and rise of mass social media, we used to live in a world where there was institutional control. I guess most of you have been growing up with TV and stuff. But there's a shift happening more towards the consumer control, where social media is becoming more and more important in the way how we aggregate content, how we get knowledge. Several things you could do with the social media support and promote viral marketing, generate leads and prospects. Everything comes through interaction with your customers. Okay, here's some interesting facts. As we've seen in the video, the visiting of social sites is now the most popular online activity, outranking personal email. And another interesting stat is a lot of people who are involved in social media want to talk to a company as well. They want to hear at least something back from them. I had a question in the other, my other session about how to phrase it. If I have a presence, if I talk to people, it was about transparency. It was about should I really be online and interact with my people even though they're going to give me negative comments? And I said, yeah, you should. And I tell you why, because it's an awesome opportunity to turn people in from like a disliker to a liker. Because if you have ground rules established and you're honest and transparent, people show you are a voice instead of just a product. If people don't like you, have a negative experience, and you answer that within 15 to 20 minutes, all of a sudden their weight changed. They'll have the same experience. They had about 68% of all the forums were negative comments about their product. They didn't like it. And they started engaging in there and being honest and taking not all the blame. Of course, there's some stuff you just don't reply to, but the negative comment went through from 68% to about 35%. Talk about effective PR there. Again, as we've seen, the number of social network users have doubled. This is a statement, social media users are beginning to shape brands as much as brands have been shaping them. Brands should have social voice and interact with consumers online. I want to be sensitive of the time, and I want to really give you guys also something to walk away with. Here's another interesting thing. I just heard it yesterday by a guy, Sean Parker. He formed Napstar way back in '99. He's on the board of Facebook and other stuff, and he held this presentation, and he said the following: companies that harness the power of network will dominate the internet, and collecting data is less valuable than connecting people. Talking about a revolution, guys. We all thought Google was the biggest thing, nothing could top Google, but I'm here to tell you, and I believe honestly that collecting data is gonna stop. It's gonna have a max. We can only take so much information, right? But we do want to connect with people. I do. Everybody has this sense of wanting to belong somewhere, and everybody wants to connect. So what we'll see happening, in my opinion, in the near future is that the networks are becoming more and more popular, and the networks will become more and more an economic force as well. Here's a stat of commonly used social media tools, and if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. Some tips for small and medium businesses. What we can do with social media: you can help your search engine relevance. It's an easy and natural way to get your name there. It lets you share knowledge in the area of your expertise and helps expand your contact base and your business referral network. Allows you and your business to be accessible and can act as a consumer relation for your service and your products. You can engage in a two-way communication with others. I believe that instead of just pushing the product out, the old way of thinking, it's going to be becoming more and more important if I really know everything about this product, about the service, about the ministry, about the message. It's awesome to have one vision or one mission there, but we need to become an authority in the field of what we do. And that is the conversation. That makes sense when we're talking about conversation. If I am an authority in my field, people will automatically come to me because they want to hear what I have to say. And it does not necessarily have to do with my core service or with my core message, but they will find me because I'm an authority and I'm sought after. Yes? What's going to catch your right? You're talking about, you're asking what's going to catch your attention if you have a website, because there are hundreds of them out there. I think a very basic thing. I touched about establishing yourself as being an online authority. How can I do that? Well, I show it because I have a group of followers. I have fresh content every day or every week. I have this many fans on Facebook. That's how you establish yourself as being an authority. In other words, it's not again the consumer, it's your friends, fans, and your followers that become the driving force. And you can show that on your website. So instead of having a dead-end website where people come to and they hit a website, it's like having a car but not driving.
You have a living website.
Yep. Yep. A living website connecting with people, or at least showing. I mean, some services or products are not, you don't have to have anything to say every week, but it's good to show yourself as, hey, we have a Facebook fan page. Tell people that, you should come to us for the best accounting service. Or I have some tips about the IRS, and I'm tweeting about my tips over the next year. And another thing is the LinkedIn networking. Here's something about, if you have a product, you can offer samples to bloggers that take advantage in PR opportunities. Offer yourself being interviewed, and use Twitter to let people know. For service professionals, who of you has a LinkedIn profile? That's not too many. I talked to a guy just in the previous presentation, and he found that the people he found on LinkedIn, the resumes he got on LinkedIn while searching for people who could fill a position, were much better than Monsterboard or whatever. And I'm like, hey, there it is. Monsterboard, information push, collecting data. LinkedIn, it's a network. LinkedIn is a network of people that belong there, that have people connecting to them. And it's already proven to be a more viable solution. The benefits of using social media: it helps your customer to engage with you, direct communication, get more and faster feedback, lower your cost for service. How about that? Building your brand and doing market research. So I think this is the most important part for it. I don't know how long do I have, John? 7 minutes. Awesome. How to jump on the social media bandwagon. What you can do today that will get you off the band and into action. I have a very simple principle when it comes to social media. I told you, social media is about the conversation. How can we engage? There are 3 things we need to be doing. We need to find this conversation, right? We need to find the places people hang out that are interested in us, in our products, in our services, in our ministries. We need to find them. That's step 1. The second step is we need to follow these people. And the third you will find is to fuel it, to give people the opportunity to share my content. So find, follow, fuel. There's a lot of things going in the social media arena, but I like to drill it down to 3 simple principles: find, follow, and fuel. So how can we find conversations? There are several websites. I just listed a few here. Compete can help with that. You can use socialmention.com. Everything is a .com here. Technocracy, blog polls, Reddit, and Twitter to find conversations that are taking place about you, about your brand, about your ministry. So finding the conversation. But now we have found them. What do we do when we find the conversations? Important is to follow them. Follow the conversations that are taking place on Twitter and blogs and LinkedIn and Facebook and wherever they take place. Here's a way to do it. If you read some of the blogs and they tell something about you that you do or you don't like, most often you need to be a member of the same blogging platform in order to give comments, in order to give rates, whatever. So you need to set up the accounts. We come across recently a new thing, and that I call it social media identity protection. There are 300 plus networks out there, and they are growing by the day. And everything will have your name as a subdirectory. What does it mean? It will say blogger/Pascal. But how about my competitor or somebody who doesn't like me signs up for blogger/Pascal and, tells stories about me that are not true, or they are taking away my customers because people think I am Pascal. So right now I see an emerge where we should, and I want to encourage you guys to set up and go over all the social media accounts and just register the name. Just register, get your own name so other people won't get it. Just some practical tips how you do the desired username, 11 letters and numbers. Have a good password that has an uppercase, a lowercase, and a number, a date of birth, a city SIP and a code, an avatar, it's a square picture of you, and create a couple of short bios. In other words, here's a list what you can do for setting up the accounts. If you have this, you go over all the accounts you can set up, and there you go. You have protected your name, and most importantly, you can follow your conversations. The third thing, fuel the conversation. How can we do that? We have found it, we're following them. Now we're going to contribute on other people's blogs, on our own blogs. We do retweets. We do an email outreach. We can do contribute to the community we're a part of. We can answer questions on Yahoo Questions or wherever the questions are taking place about you. We can create case studies about something we did. We could do product reviews or social bookmarking or even have Facebook applications. And there are tons of opportunities to fuel the conversation. Importantly, again, is to have your presence ready for this interaction. Have people be able to share the content you have on your website or become a fan, a friend, or a follower. Here's some other practical tips. I believe that what Bob Jones mentioned yesterday about building a barn is very important, and it also flows down to social media and the social media revolution. Have a strategy in place. It's not, having usernames and having everything registered. That's not the only thing. Have a strategy in place. Have a way in place. How do you want to sound? What is your voice going to be? Do you have a publishing schedule? Because a lot of people have like a Twitter account, or they have a Facebook fan page, they have a blogger, they have a live journal. Hey, they're even on Orkut, and they do some social question and answering, and people know about them. But if you don't follow up on the things, it will die a slow death, and people will talk bad about you. So it takes an engagement. Again, create the accounts just for the protection of it, and realize a very important thing, that the consumer, it's a shift of consumers, the shift of a consumer, that's important to bear in mind, and abide to etiquette and social rules. Don't talk bad about people, be transparent. And the fun thing is, what I really like is that you can actually measure and track a lot of the results. So all the things you're doing online, instead of a billboard, you can see how many people are driving past, or you can see the actual subscribers from a newspaper, or you can find out how many people are watching this show. However, is there a very concrete measurement of how many people are actually going to be engaged? No, there's not. So the tip of the day is measure it. And again, it's not everything. You need to integrate it with your plan. Important part, again, is create the guidelines as part of the strategy. Set up rules of engagement. Embrace transparency. Do not delete critical comments. Don't be afraid. Build trust. Show you're a listener. Set goals. Instead of saying, I want to be online, I want to engage in the social media arena, set yourself a good goal. I want to have 200, 300 followers, fans, or friends. I want to be posting content each day. I want to convert people from my landing page to an active engagement. I want to sell more. I want to have more awareness about my cause. I want to have more people coming to me when they need something. Interact is an important part. Again, we talked about the interaction, the many-to-many communication which internet and social media has enabled. Read what's going on about you. Participate in these conversations. Respond quickly for stronger effect. Don't wait 48 hours if somebody comments both positively or negatively about you. Be quick. It's an awesome way of showing, doing public relations. Combination is key. Use multiple tools to spread your presence. I am not a believer in a Facebook fan page only, in a Twitter account only, in one blog at Blogger, or only engaging in one social question and answering, or signing up for YouTube and have a YouTube channel. I believe you should spread everything and combine everything. And the last thing, guys, is be patient. It's not something that will go overnight. There are some tricks and tips we could do to get overnight results when it comes to video, but honestly, you have to be patient. Some Facebook tips, just for you guys, is to, if you gonna go on Facebook, do all company details. Perhaps look at applications that are there that you can use, but also use it as an advertising medium. It's the best way to advertise because you can target locations, demographics, everything you want. Interests. Bookmarking tips. For those of you who knows what a online bookmarking is. Okay, let's go back one step. Who has favorites in their website? Okay. Bookmarking is sharing your favorites with the rest of the world. Again, it's a way of communicating, showing other people, hey, this is my favorite. This is a place where I go to find out more about this, more about that. That's what it is. That's what bookmarking is. And that's a very effective way of engaging in social media, sharing your favorites. Again, it's about me being an authority. I am my authority in my field, and these are the websites I'll look at to find out more about stuff. So that's bookmarking tips. This is an important rule, the 80-20 rule. Don't do me. Visit my website, visit page 1 of my website, visit page 2 of my website, visit page 3 of my website, and bookmark these. No, do the 80-20. Only 20% about yourself. The rest needs to be about somebody else or something you find interesting. And have people being able to connect with you. That's some tips about bookmarking. Microblogging, the Twitters, the Identicas of this world, same thing there. I have watched a very annoying Twitter account the other day that I'm monitoring. And it makes me, I have to do it for a customer, but I don't really like it because 100% is call me. Finding something out about the service and it will say, call me, call me, call me. Well, that's not really the way to do it. Again, the 80-20 rule, Twitter about the things you're going through, make yourself, given your service, your brand, give it a personality, give it a voice. I think that's the key. It's about giving it a voice. Reply to stuff. The bottom line, bit.ly and is.gd, I think that's kind of rubbish for a lot of people. But what it is, microblogging is, in an essence, 140 characters of saying something. It's like a little text message on your phone and saying something that's going to be published online. But you cannot do it with a whole lot of text. You have to think 140 characters. Well, if I find an awesome website, it could have already 50 or 60 or 70 characters. And these bit.ly, if you go there, you can shorten that, that long URL website link to a very short one so you can use it in your effective communication. So again, there are a lot of tools out there that make communication effective. Tips for video. If you're using video, a lot of videos are pretty I've seen video to be very effective in social media. As you can see, it makes sense, it's fun, but if you do videos, do it a little different and use your URL in the videos. And you can do like a video, could be an ad or whatever. One important point is the 777 formula. What is a 777 formula? Other than being a very good number, it talks about how can I get a lot of traffic to my cause, my website. And this is, again, an effective formula. Have 7 frequent asked questions about you, your service, whatever. And then have 7 questions that you think people should ask about you. And then, in addition, do 7 testimonials of people using you or your product. And instead of having only 1 video, you have 21 videos. And these 21 videos you can use to target different people with different interests. Because one of them could be a keyword about water, the other one could be a keyword about a bottle, but whatever, you can target this, you can target a lot of different people, but still they will come back to your website because, again, you've branded them. So that's a tip for videos. Use it in Google locally. And the results, guys, better awareness, a brand management, better stickiness, better products in the end. And here's the last thing I want to touch on briefly, and then I would love to answer some questions. Risks of not having this strategy is that people can talk about you in a bad way. You don't know how to answer, so you reply anonymous. Somebody who's influential realizes it creates negative buzz. This negative buzz increases. You lose control, and you respond honestly, and you're too late. You set up a bad image, and now you have to deal with crisis management. Again, you lost the results. These are the risks. This is probably the presentation. I hope I gave you some practical tips on social media, but also sparked the idea of that we are living in a revolution. I am 100% sure that we are living in a revolution. So if there are any questions, or if you want to fill out your forms, that would be awesome. Is there anybody who has questions? Yes. Okay. What if your large target market are the baby boomers that are not familiar with social networking? The question right now I want to pose back, what is the largest growing demographic on Facebook? Who can tell me, or who has an idea? Sorry? Hispanics, yeah? It is 55 to 65-year-old women. That's the largest growing demographic. Yeah, it's a growing demographic. It's not the demographic that's already there, but it's growing. I think, it's finding your audience. There is a tool called Quantcast that you can use for websites, and you can find out who's going, what the demographics are, and you can find out even other websites that have targeted this specific demographic. So there are some tools, but I agree the baby boomers are not online yet, but I think within 2 to 3 years, the way things are going, they will be on there. And there will still be people who are not on there. But it's interesting. Some other questions? Yes, sir.
If a client of mine or someone visits my website, my business website, and then as a result of that visitation, a virus is downloaded to their system, can I be liable for damages sustained by them because of that virus?
That is an interesting question, and I don't know the exact answer for that. I think not, because there's a lot of, but I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's, yes, ma'am. So if you're interested in selling your product online, that's a question. And the question falls to what you can do for that, because people are only 20 to 30 seconds online. We call that the conversion rate. So you need to be able to convert them as soon as possible to, buying your product or being interested. Sometimes it helps even more because we all know, or a lot of you might know, that an average customer takes 7 times touching or 7 messages before they really get the message. So you might want to think of, instead of selling a product, you might want to give away free information so that over the course of time they will buy your product and become more informed. Is that an answer to your question? Yeah, it's just a different mindset. I think even for myself, I have to grow into that, but we need to adapt a little different mindset. It's not about my product that's going to be on video, it's about people using my product. It's going to be more effective. Again, 78% of the people trust peer recommendations. Other questions?
One more.
Yes. The question is, how do you draw the line? The line. How do you draw a line, and especially if you have a small business? Drawing the line depends on how you set your goals, I think. What are your goals? Are your goals to get information out, or are your goals to sell stuff? And just draw a line and say, I only do 1 hour of social networking a day, but make it part of your daily routine. I think that the drawing of the line will become more and more there as soon as you get results. But before you get results, and before the stuff I talked about being patient, right? You set a business routine where you set everything up and you do 1 hour, half an hour a day on answering questions. You do it at night. I mean, the fun thing about social networking is you can do it when you wake up early in the morning or before you go to bed. But make it part of your daily routine. Make it part of your business process.
Pascal, thank you. This is Pascal VanKnijff with IP4M here in Fort Mill, South Carolina. That concludes this seminar.